How you doing? I'm Joe Dallas, and this is The New Now. We call this series The New Now because that's what we're facing. We're facing a new situation. In this new situation, there are a lot of anxieties. There's also a lot of potential. And realistically, yeah, there are dangers. I want to talk to you for a few minutes about a very common danger we're about to face, and that is the danger of default. The danger of default. A default happens when you are uncomfortable, and so you turn to a method of relieving discomfort that you discovered in the past, and that method may or may not be legitimate. That's the reality of default. Now, in the first few weeks, we kind of went numb, didn't we? I mean, when we first experienced the quarantines and the shutdowns and the danger of the virus spreading and so forth, it was kind of like when somebody dies, we go into denial. It's very hard to believe it even happened. Emotionally, we shut down. And then as we start to realize, wow, this is real and this is what I'm going to be facing, the emotions start to come up. I think that's right about where we are now. We're starting to feel a response to the new now when we're realizing, hey, this is what life is going to be like for a while. Hopefully, not a very long while, but we're going to be facing it at least for another month, maybe much longer. Who knows? That's one of the things I hate about all of this is who knows? It's a season of a lot of uncertainty. So now what? Okay, lots of us are going to be feeling deep depression over losses, lost income, lost job, lost security, who knows? A lot of us are going to be feeling heightened anxiety over the ambiguity of the time. This is the season of I don't know. Almost every pertinent question we have is met with I don't know. We don't know how long it'll be. We don't know how widespread the problem is. We don't know what the ramifications are going to be. It's one big I don't know. Whatever problems also have pre-existed this crisis, whatever fault lines there are in our marriages or our personality or our lifestyles, well, those fault lines now are going to get aggregated because we are in one heck of a pressure cooker right now, aren't we? So all of that means we're going to start getting very uncomfortable, very uncomfortable. And when we're uncomfortable, we're going to want relief. When we want relief, we turn to something that has the impact of a medication, something that medicates our pain, medicates our discomfort. We're going to default back to what has comforted us in the past. Now, this is where it's going to get tricky. Some of what we've used in the past to comfort ourselves may be very healthy and legitimate and right within God's will. Plenty of stuff we use to comfort ourselves is not. Overeating, abuse of alcohol, drugs, pornography, any number of things that we discovered and then repeated and then incorporated. That's how it happens, isn't it? I remember when I discovered pornography as a boy, I discovered that it offered me anesthesia, it offered me escape, it offered me comfort. And so when I discovered that way of medicating myself, I repeated the use of the medication until it became incorporated as a part of my life. Now, I turned from that back in 1984, but I gotta say, whatever we have incorporated in the past, we could default to in the present or in the future when we're under stress. Because we tend to feel a need to go back to what has worked, even if it didn't really work well, what has worked in the past to offer us temporary relief. So, what are we going to do to avoid the danger of default? Let me offer three things that are pretty practical and I think biblically based. One is so obvious it hardly needs to be said, and that is say something, tell somebody. Tell somebody. James 5:16, confess your faults one to another, pray for one another that you might be healed. Hey, one of the greatest buffers against you defaulting back to the use of pornography or the abuse of alcohol or to overeating or to who knows whatever is bring it out into the light. You confess it. You tell somebody what your default pattern is. Secondly, you establish some ongoing communication. This would be a great time to tell someone, look, I have had a problem in the past with relying on alcohol to get me through pain or using pornography or whatever. And I want you and I to talk on a weekly basis so you can ask me, hey, this week, did you default back to that drug of choice? How did you handle temptations to default back to it? How are you handling your current discomfort? You see, set up some of that accountability. Hebrews 3:13, why it tells us, exhort one another daily while it is called today, lest any of you be hardened in your hearts through the deceitfulness of sin. Leave somebody alone, isolated long enough with their own sin, and they're going to start kidding themselves into believing it's not a sin. That's the power of body ministry and mutual exhortation. Finally, third step, challenge the lie. Here's how you challenge the lie. When I weaned myself off porn, I said, okay, this is no longer acceptable to me. I got to throw it out. I got to stop the use or what have you. I went cold turkey, which is the right way to do it. When you repent of a sin, you don't give it any leeway. But what I found was that my body started lying to me. I started really feeling like, wow, I need my porn. I need that stuff. And that's because I had acclimated my system to getting that hyperstimulation on a regular basis. And I thought this was not just something I enjoyed. This has become something I have to have. And basically, my brain was lying to me, telling me that what I craved was something I needed. There's only one way to get past that. Challenge the lie. Challenge the lie. That means you tolerate the discomfort of saying no to what you feel like giving into, and then you find legitimate ways to comfort yourself. I mean, this is a season that calls for creativity. Discover long walks or good movies or books that you haven't read, or doing some journaling and creative writing. Whatever you can do to legitimately soothe yourself, that you do. And then when you challenge the lie that your body is telling you, I need my illicit medication, you realize, wow, I survived. I am okay. It felt a little uncomfortable, but no, it didn't kill me. I feel stronger and healthier, and that's how you develop more core strength. Look, there is nothing wrong with medicating. There is everything wrong with choosing bad medicine. That's why God said through Isaiah 55, 1 and 2, why do you spend your money for that which is not bread, and your labor for that which cannot satisfy? He wasn't rebuking people for having needs. Rather, he was rebuking people for trying to satisfy their needs in all the wrong ways. So, hey, let you and I not apologize for being uncomfortable during an uncomfortable season. But let you and I avoid defaulting back to the wrong medicine in a futile attempt to medicate our discomfort. I'm Joe Dallas. It's good talking with you. God bless.